So day 49, still Marion taking a zero with Grace Squirrel. Hawkeye stayed last night but he left this morning. Soham 1 foot and Fluffy, sorry, and we're staying in the Traveller's Inn. It's a small motel, a little bit old but it's fairly clean. Weather's perfect today. It's going to be perfect again tomorrow, and then rain on the weekend, I believe. This is their room. So me and Grey Squirrel are into the one room. We've just done our resupply. G'day, Grey Squirrel. And that's my bed with my junk on it. Sort of half of it's in the pack already, ready for tomorrow. Got some fruit to eat tonight. Got a beautiful view out the window though. Have a look at this gorgeous house out the behind us. The barn house. Looks fantastic, and that house over there looks really nice too. But yeah, so it's a pretty quiet day. Trying to upload, not getting a lot of success with the internet, so I haven't done a lot of filming today, just because I'm trying to keep the phone near the Wi-Fi to try and keep the uploading. I've been going for 2 hours and it's at 22%, so I thought I'm going to try and video, and hopefully it hasn't interfered too much. But yeah, tomorrow we're going out, and in 5 days before I get to the next place where I've got to stop at Woods Hole, and that will be just for overnight. Hey viewers, day 49, zeroing in Marion today. Me and Wally are just getting some snoozing time in the motel. Grey Squirrel's here just sitting on his bed. It's a beautiful day outside, roughly about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 25 Celsius. Would have been a hot day to be hiking, so I'm sort of glad we took the zero. A few of the guys have got some beat up feet and that. My neck's very sore from the pack. The weight on my shoulders due to the belt being too large, but it's livable. Also, I wanted to upload some videos. I just uploaded day 46 and it took 9 hours. The Wi-Fi here is 17-minute video, so it is very poor service. It means I haven't done a lot of filming around town because I need to stay near the Wi-Fi. Went in and done my resupply today. Really had leftover pizza from yesterday, so that's all I've really eaten today. The week in review, so day 43, I did the 26 miles into Damascus. I wasn't planning to do 26, but Hawkeye challenged me to get in there and he'd give me dinner. I did get in, my legs were like rubber, but I couldn't get onto him in time and he left the next morning, but I have caught up with him since. Stayed at the church hostel and was $7 donation, and the saying you get what you paid for, I know where that comes from. Shower was hopeless. It had this one little squirt coming out. I couldn't get the hot water working properly. I tried to wash my legs to get the mud off my feet. I hit the handle, my handle's fallen off and split my toe. So I got my biggest injury on my day off in a shower. Day 44 was a zero, so the next morning I'd got pizza that night. Next morning I thought I had pizza in the morning, there was ants on it, so threw that out. I got packed up, went to Woods Hole Hostel, where Tash and Savannah had sent me a parcel, so I was always planning to stay there one night. To help with the costs, I actually went out and tented. It was cheaper to tent than it was to get a bunk, and I prefer it anyway, you get a little bit of privacy. Went there. Oh, what a beautiful place. Fantastic person who ran it. Got a teepee in the backyard. The lawns are looked after. Everything was clean. The shower was fantastic. And when I walked in the door, they were having breakfast. I wasn't paying for that breakfast. I was paying because I got a breakfast with my tent site the next morning. He had leftover stuff. He said, let's go and have some. So I had waffles and eggs and orange juice, everything that they had, and he didn't charge me for it. So it was a great start to a really nice day, and I love the houses in Damascus. It was just a really nice town and old. Day 45, so I was pretty much back on schedule. Day 45, I went out and pretty frustrated with the trail. They've got this beautiful creeper trail that goes right next to the river, it is a very plain trail, like no rocks or roots or anything, and it's more a day hiker or a bike riding track. But I like to get views and take photos of the views too. So the fact that the AT decided to branch off and go over mountains with no views, and then come back to the Creeper Trail about 3 times, and then another time go up looking at the shelter, and then not even going to the shelter, stopped about a quarter of a mile and turned and said, if you want to go to it, it's not counted, you've got to walk your own, and it just seemed pointless to me. So I was very frustrated that day, but at the end of the day I stayed under the bridge, which I'd seen on YouTube. I really enjoyed it. Had the river on both sides. Someone started to share in another room and made a big squealing noise. So that was ended with a good day. I was 2 miles short of where everyone else was staying. They were staying at the shelter, but I stay at shelters a lot, and I knew I wanted to do this one a little different. So I got up a little bit earlier. Day 46, fantastic day. So I got up early. I was a bit behind everyone. There was quite a big uphill in the start, so I got that out of the way before the heat. Got to the top of it, and there was a grass field there. 1 Foot and Soham were there. I'd caught up with grey squirrel by then, and we just lounged and looked at the view. Stunning. The sun was nice. We just relaxed. I had a bag of chips, which I'd carried out. Then we kept walking. The rocks started getting a little bit worse after that again. That was the other thing about day 45. The rocks, for the first time, really hurt my feet. And I only did 14 miles, and I don't think I could have done many more. So on day 46, up in the Gracelands, I had the same issue. But it was such a nice day, it sort of offset the sore feet. Then we come across the ponies, and there was a lot of other hikers in the area. And then I was telling the guys that I do dances at each of the states, and we were talking about the 500 mark. So 1 Foot said we should do a line dance through, and so they helped me out with that. I think a bit cheesy, but I think it came up pretty good. And I've just uploaded it, so watch it, people. Day 47, it was hot, really hot. So we did 16. I was hoping to do 20 that day. I got to the lunch spot, and I thought I'd try and get the extra 10 miles. I got halfway through, and we come to this waterfall, and there was a 0.7 uphill, and the heat was just getting to me. I put my shirt in the under the waterfall to cool down, and I made the decision then I was going to stay with the other guys at the 15 mark. And then 1 Foot said that it was going to be hot again tomorrow, so he was going to get up at 4:30 in the morning on day 48 and get into town before. And he was zeroing, and I hadn't planned to zero. The heat did get to me a little bit, and I knew today was going to be hot as well. So with 5 of us, we share in the room. It cost us $20 a night. So I did do that, and I said, "Oh, wake me up at 4:30," and we did. And we hiked. There was a very tall mountain, which I'm glad I didn't do on the day before, because I would have struggled. Did it in the morning. Light wasn't even up yet, and got that mountain out of the way, and then it was downhill pretty much from there. We actually even got in. We left at 5, and we got to the visitor centre at 11, and the visitor centre at 11 has a shuttle that goes into town. So it was bonus. We were thinking we were going to get the 2 o'clock shuttle. We got the 11, so we got an extra 3 hours in town. Marion's very nice. It's a bit more of a normal town. It's not like a country town. It's more of a city type sit-up. We're near the McDonald's and the Walmart and Pizza Hut, and a whole lot of places are in walking distance, so we're just doing that today. As I said, I've been uploading videos, so I've been hanging around here. Caught up with Hawkeye. He was at the McDonald's having a 0 day here as well, so he stayed with us last night, gave us 6 people in the rooms, but he left this morning because he didn't want a double zero, and his wife is in Atkins. And then, today was just resupply and zero, so today's been a bit of a quiet day. In terms of miles this week, so I didn't match last week. Did 89 miles this week in 7 days, where last week I did 100, so 89 equals second best. 143 kilometres, giving me a total miles now 533 miles or 853 kilometres. So I'm closing in on that 1,000 kilometres. Average for this week was 13 miles and 20 kilometres. Average overall is still at 11 and 17 kilometres, so I'm 4 miles under or 7 kilometres under what I have to average overall. I've had 9 zeros, 7 neros, so under 10 miles, and 23 times I've stayed in accommodation, and by week 7 I had only planned to stay 13. So I've had quite a few extra hostel stays, but I am doing some of them where it's cheaper than what I expected, like I'm tenting at the hostel rather than paying for a bed, or like the motel room today was 20 where I budgeted 40. Food, the on-trail costs this week. Now there will be probably another dinner tonight, but I've still got some leftover pizza, so I'm not sure yet. But on-trail resupply was $89.94 American. That's about 120 Australian. I've spent $100 at the restaurants this week. That included 2 days at Damascus, or 2 nights at Damascus, and 2 nights here. So 4 of the 7 days have been in town. Hostel stays, a total of $68 American. $3 I gave to the shuttle drivers. Some old guy, you ring him up, he will come and pick you up for nothing out at the visitor centre, drive you 15 miles into town, wherever you ask. We went to the post office, he dropped us to the post office, and he doesn't ask anything. He says, if you want to give me a donation, you can. So I gave him $3 because I had the 3 $1 notes, and I know 1 foot, I think, gave him 4 as well. So great bloke, he's an old guy, just likes meeting the hikers, and he's a real trail angel, just to help us out to get into town and out of town. And it was $8 of laundry back at Damascus and here in total. So I have forgotten to add all of that up. It was $269.37 American. So that's roughly 360 Australian overall. So that would mean I'm at 2,680 Australian, or 270, that's 19, 2,020 American. And so 2,700. By week 7, I wanted to be at 2,450. So I'm 250 over. So I do still need to be very smart with my hostel stays. I'm supposed to stay at a hostel tomorrow night, which I'm now not doing. So instead of staying there, it was just an overnight stay. Because I stayed here, I'm going to be out in the bush. So that'll bring some of my budget back. My next stop is five days away, and some bigger miles this week is I'm going to attempt. We are getting into the lower lands. We still have lots of ups and downs, but none of the 6,000 footers or 5,000 footers. I don't think we go over 5,000 foot again now to the whites. So gives me the opportunity to do some bigger miles, but the things I'm going to worry about are the rocks, and we're now getting the heat. I leave tomorrow. It's supposed to be another 25 day. Then it's supposed to rain on the weekend, but the rain is supposed to be in the mid-70s, so that's about 20, so it's heat and rain. So heat and the rocks are the things that are going to worry me coming forward. But overall, doing all right. Feet are good. Got a couple of little issues. I did have a spot under me ball of my foot that really concerned me one night. Got up the next morning, put some moleskin on it, and it was fine the next day. My feet are dried out at the back from wearing the sandals in town. I get some cuts when that happens. I just put some bigger band-aids on those and they're fine. Yeah, I think that's it. The group, there's like 6 or 7 of us, are all around the 50 to 60-year-old age. We get along really well. A few of them have gone on my YouTube channel already, and I'm making some really good friendships. So when they come down to Australia, they said they're going to visit me, and they keep asking me to come over and see them with my family. So it's what I was hoping would happen, and it is. I think I found my clique, my group, and I do miss Dog Whisperer and Dusseldorf. Don't get me wrong. They would fit into this group really well. So yeah, having a good time. Struggling up the hills still, downhill and flats. I've got no issues whatsoever. And yeah, the heat now is going to start becoming a problem. I don't think we'll get any more snow. Fingers crossed. I'm over snow. All right. Thanks for watching. What a hiker does on his day off. Puts his feet in 2 rubbish bins with ice to keep them cool, and contacts family. Viewers, still day 49, but I've just had something that I just had to talk about. when I first heard about the Appalachian Trail, it was in a movie, The Walk in the Woods, with Robert Redford and that in 2015. It was just after I'd had a car accident and could have easily lost my life, and I didn't. And that was when I decided I really needed to do something that I would remember and worthwhile. And I heard about this Appalachian Trail, and then I went online to look what it was, and then I started watching YouTube, and there was one channel, Sam I Am, was the guy I just loved to watch, and it became my TV show, my Friends or my Seinfeld. I was just waiting for the next episode all the time when he'd upload it. Well, One Foot is good mates with him. He's rung him today, and he's just handed the phone to me, and I've just spoken to Sam I Am. So he's made my day. He inspired me to do it. He was always happy on the trail, so I know he was editing, because there's no way you could be happy the whole time, but made my day. The 0 days hasn't been a total waste of just uploading videos. So thank you, One Foot, and thanks for talking to me, Sam I Am.